Shelly Miscavige was given into the sole care of L. Ron Hubbard by her parents when she was 12.
Where's Shelly and what happened?
It's a question that has been asked repeatedly for over 15 years now. Even though the LAPD reported that Shelly Miscavige was alive and well, no one really believed it. Her current whereabouts are still a dark secret that very few know the answer to, and you'll never believe the shocking truth about what really happened to her. 2007 was the last year that the public saw Shelly. She was seen being escorted to her father's funeral, but after that, she pretty much just vanished. Her disappearance was seriously questioned until 2013 when a missing person report was finally filed, but by then it had already been 6 years since she was believed to have disappeared. That year, a Scientology spokesperson finally addressed the matter in a statement. They said that she was not a public figure and asked that her privacy be respected. But for a lot of people, those words weren't enough of an explanation as to why we never saw her anymore. Her name has been brought up in the media a number of times over the years. Most recently, she was talked about in a joke by the comedian Gerald Carmichael when he hosted the 80th Golden Globe Awards in 2023. He suggested that because Tom Cruise had returned his Golden Globe Awards back in 2022, they could be exchanged for the safe return of Shelly. Of course, millions of people saw the awards ceremony, and it made her disappearance a topic of conversation again. Now, we all know that Shelly wasn't the first Scientologist to just go missing one day, but the crazy thing here is that Shelly isn't just any Scientologist. As you know, she is the wife of the leader of the Church of Scientology, David Miscavige. So it's hard to understand how someone who was once such a well-known figure of the organization could just vanish into thin air practically overnight. And here's one person who's been very open about how messed up she finds the whole thing. Leah Remini, the ex-Scientologist actor who got her big break on the sitcom The King of Queens. Like Shelly, she was raised by Scientologists and she managed to climb up the ranks. At one point, they were friendly according to Leah, which is why Leah became concerned about Shelly's whereabouts on an exceptionally important day for the organization. It was Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes' wedding back in 2006, the year before Shelly was seen for the last time. While everyone else was ignoring the fact that the wife of the best man wasn't present, Leah began interrogating fellow guests to find out if they'd seen her. She eventually turned to someone she felt confident could answer the question, and you won't believe what that person's response was.
Where is Shelly? I think it's weird that she's not here. And he said, you don't have the effing rank to be asking about the leader's wife.
She later shared that it sort of sparked something in her.
Do you know where Shelly Miscavige is now?
I do not. I filed a police report.
Apparently, the church didn't want her asking those kinds of questions about its senior members, and Leah was later taken to a church facility in Clearwater, Florida. It was there that she paid the price for her concern about the well-being of Shelly.
You get interrogated. You get put into a room on an actual meter, like a lie detector test.
So, of course, we all know that Leah eventually left the church and went on to publicly warn everyone about Scientology, and she was the one who filed the missing person report for Shelly with the LAPD. But rumor has it that the Church of Scientology has the LA police in their back pocket. So even though no one else had seen Shelly for the last 6 years, the police reported back to Leah saying that she was fine. Of course, Leah was not satisfied with the detective answers, and she wanted to know more about what happened when they allegedly saw Shelly. She told people that when she asked the officers if they'd seen her with their own eyes, they reportedly told Leah that they couldn't give her that information. Not surprisingly, the church wasn't happy with Leah digging around. Its members released a statement to people that alleged that she was pulling a publicity stunt motivated by hate and money. The LAPD closed the missing person case, and Leah was left with many unanswered questions. But Leah wasn't the only one who doubted the police. Journalist Shashar Ali recently wrote an article detailing everything that he found out from his investigation into that 2013 missing person case, and what he discovered will shock you. He said that through his investigation, he was able to discover what happened on the day the police claimed they met Shelly and saw that she was fine. Apparently, the meeting was arranged by one of Shelly's attorneys. Police officers and Shelly agreed to meet at a coffee shop, and when the officers arrived, they met someone who told them that she was Shelly. This woman was accompanied by a lawyer, but not just any lawyer. It was Jeffrey Riffer, one of the church's long-serving Scientology attorneys. According to Yashir's Post, the police took the woman's fingerprints and went back to run them against the ones they had of Shelly at their headquarters. And get this, apparently the quality of the fingerprints taken wasn't good enough to result in a match. Some of Yashir's sources claim that the technicians didn't even need to bother trying to match them because it was obvious that they were bad, which prompted the question of whether that woman had perhaps been trained to leave fingerprints that wouldn't be able to get matched. So what do you think the police did after that? Well, what they didn't do was go and get a second set of fingerprints. Instead, they closed the case and publicly announced that Leah's missing person report was unfounded. Yashir claimed that that wasn't the first time the LAPD had disregarded standard law enforcement procedures in order to help cover up supposed crimes related to Scientology. He also talked about something else that happened with the police investigation that was super suspicious. Even though the case had been closed, the detectives apparently contacted the coffee shop they'd been to and asked them for security footage from that day. But the bizarre thing was that the footage had apparently been scrambled with, Yashir claiming that he'd even managed to look at the security tape himself. For a lot of people, this report was pretty huge. The Daily Mail reached out to the LAPD, Scientology representatives, and their lawyer Jeremy to ask for comments. They didn't receive any, but there was one person who was especially relieved to read Yashir's report and wanted to comment. Leah sent a text message to Yashir with a statement. She said that for 10 years, the LAPD and Scientology had tried to paint her as some paranoid conspiracy theorist with a vendetta. The news was a relief, but it also angered her. She was furious about the cover-up and that Scientology had gotten away with it. Adding that new information only made her want to fight for her friend even more. Obviously, there are a lot of theories as to why Shelly vanished. Vanity Fair reported that according to some former Scientology sources, in 2006, Shelly began working on a special project that was responsible for her decline. Apparently, she was in charge of restructuring something called the Org Board. The report claimed that because of her failure to recognize that project, she lost her high-ranking position and was sent away. And there's someone out there who thinks they know where to. Not long after Jared made the Tom Cruise joke at the award ceremony, a former Scientologist posted a pretty crazy video on his YouTube account. In the video, Aaron Smith-Levin claimed that he had the recordings of drone footage of one of the church's most secretive bases in Twin Peaks, California, a place he believes Shelly is living at, either voluntarily or involuntarily. And what is she supposedly doing there? Apparently, she has been working for CST. Aaron talked about how a lot of Scientologists were desperate to be assigned to work at the base, but he explained that that might not have been the case for Shelly. Aaron also claimed that there were armed security guards working at the base and that they could have been put there to ensure that Shelly didn't escape. But he also noticed that he didn't think Shelly wanted to escape. So does that mean that Shelly doesn't necessarily want to be found? If that's the case, she might not be the only one, because the Daily Mail recently put out a bombshell report, and you'll never believe who else has gone missing from the organization. Her husband David, the leader himself. The report claimed that a U.S. judge ruled that David had been served a federal trafficking lawsuit, which was filed by former church members. The ex-Scientologist said that they were trafficked into the Scientology organization when they were just kids and were made to work for next to nothing when they grew up. The judge stated that David was actively concealing his whereabouts or evading service, and that guards and Scientologists who'd been asked claimed that the leader was nowhere to be found. So who knows? Maybe there's a chance that David has gone into hiding with Shelly. But with all the secrets that the Church of Scientology has kept from the world, it's hard to tell if we'll ever know. Anyway, what do you guys think? Will we ever find out what really happened to Shelly? Do you think David will be able to hide from his lawsuit forever? Let me know in the comments below.